Hi everyone, my name is Anna Andrikopoulos and I'm excited to present my applied project with you. It focuses on the exploration of combining nursery rhymes and reader's theater in the context of early literacy development. As we know, the early literacy skills of young readers are crucial for their academic success, especially for those facing challenges. In this project, I sought to investigate how the combination of engaging nursery rhymes with the dynamic format of reader's theater can effectively support struggling first grade readers. Through this presentation, I will share the methodology, findings, and implications of my research, highlighting how these two engaging activities can foster not only literacy skills, but also a love for reading in our younger learners. I hope to inspire you to consider innovative strategies that can make a meaningful difference in early childhood education. So let's dive into the world of nursery rhymes and reader's theater and explore the powerful potential in enhancing literacy for our first graders. The research question that I am working towards is, when combined, how do nursery rhymes and reader's theater affect the development of early literacy skills in struggling first grade readers? This action research study investigates the impact that nursery rhymes and reader's theater have on the development of early literacy skills among struggling first grade readers. The research aims to explore the potential benefits of these instructional approaches in enhancing the literacy proficiency of young students who face challenges in this domain, specifically connected to their oral reading fluency, automaticity, phonemic awareness, and phonological awareness. It further describes a problem of practice derived from the detection of students in first grade who lack reading skills to be classified as proficient and fluent readers according to the dynamic indicators of basic early literacy skills, otherwise known as DIBELS. This problem of practice led to the development of an action research study which examined the impact of reading instruction that used reader's theater text and nursery rhymes on students' overall literacy development. This action research project focuses on evaluating the impact of nursery rhymes and reader's theater on early literacy skills in struggling first grade readers. Key goals and objectives include: 1. Enhancing automaticity in reading. Investigating whether engagement with nursery rhymes and reader's theater can promote automaticity in word recognition, allowing students to read more smoothly and with less cognitive effort. 2. Develop phonemic awareness skills. Examine the role of nursery rhymes with their rhythmic and repetitive nature in boosting phonemic awareness among first grade students, helping them better understand the sound structure of words. 3. Strengthen phonological awareness. Determine how participation in reader's theater can influence students' phonological awareness skills, including their ability to recognize and manipulate sounds and language, which is critical for developing proficient reading skills. 4. Identify engagement and motivation factors. Explore how the use of interactive and engaging formats like reader's theater and nursery rhymes might increase students' interest and motivation in reading, which may in turn support literacy skill development. 5. Collect qualitative and quantitative data. Gather both quantitative data and qualitative feedback to provide a comprehensive understanding of the impact of the intervention on students' literacy development. 6. Provide evidence-based recommendations. Compile and analyze findings to offer evidence-based recommendations for educators on effectively incorporating nursery rhymes and reader's theater into early literacy instruction for struggling readers. 7. Facilitate professional development. Share insights and successful strategies with other educators to foster a collaborative approach to supporting literacy development in early childhood education settings. 8. Monitor long-term impact. Plan for ongoing assessment of the long-term effects of the intervention on literacy growth beyond the first grade, helping to inform sustainable reading instruction practices. 9. Address the problem of practice. Contribute to the understanding of specific instructional strategies that can be implemented to address the identified problem of practice, aiding in the overall enhancement of literacy proficiency among at-risk students. Ultimately, the project aims to significantly improve literacy outcomes of struggling readers and advance early literacy education strategies. So a little bit of background information about the students that I worked with, the school, and kind of the methodology that was used. So for the school, there were 320 students in grades pre-K to 6th. The proficiency rates included 32% in math and 37% in reading, below state and national averages for both. 52% of students at the school were minorities, and 58% are classified as low socioeconomic families. The intervention target group was focused on 4 first grade students, all of the age of 7, who are struggling with literacy. The specific focus was on word blending and high frequency word recognition, both of which are used to help decode words and impacts their reading fluency. Students come from low socioeconomic backgrounds and attend a Title I school receiving federal funding for support. Some of the challenges that these students face include limited access to educational resources and insufficient support outside of the classroom, which affects their academic development. For this intervention, the students participated in every single day 30-minute interventions in which the sessions included nursery rhymes for engagement and readers' theater practice. The scripts were based on chosen nursery rhymes that the students would work on throughout the week. So for the weekly intervention activities, Monday was focused on introducing nursery rhymes through echo reading, vocabulary word identification, and choral reading. On Tuesday, the focus was on choral reading, vocabulary review, high-frequency word identification, flashcards that were based on the new words that they were learning, and word families, and further choral reading. Wednesday emphasized partner reading, continued flashcard practice, identified rhyming words and word families, and specific word patterns, and a lot of word blending exercises based on these new skills, these new word families, these new concepts. On Thursday, we reviewed vocabulary, we did flashcard practice, we practiced more word blending, and we also practiced the Reader's Theater script that we would be working on the next day. Friday was a quick rehearsal of Reader's Theater, followed by a performance in a creative craft activity related to the week's story and vocabulary. Overall, the program aims to enhance literacy skills and reinforce language understanding in a fun, engaging manner. When it comes to data collection, I decided to use the DIBBLES assessment, which is a series of standardized assessments for K-6 students that focus on vital reading skills such as phonemic awareness and text fluency. In first grade, various subtests assess students' literacy with results categorized into 4 color-coded levels: blue, green, yellow, and red. Blue means that the student is above benchmark. It indicates that the student is performing well above their expected grade level and demonstrates strong reading skills with a high proficiency in phonemic awareness, fluency, and comprehension. In this circumstance, the student requires enrichment activities to continue challenging their skills. Green means that the student is performing at benchmark. The student is at the expected reading level for first grade, shows proficiency in essential reading skills, suggesting they are on track for future literacy success. Typically, this indicates a readiness for more complex reading materials and tasks. Yellow means the student is performing below benchmark, and it signifies the student is approaching the benchmark but is not quite meeting the expected level. It may require additional support and interventions to improve reading skills, and the students in this category might benefit from targeted instructional strategies. Red means the student is well below benchmark and is a high-risk student. It indicates that the student is significantly below the expected reading level for their grade, requires intensive intervention and support to develop foundational literacy skills, and students may struggle with phonemic awareness, fluency, and comprehension and need individualized instruction. These benchmarks help educators identify which students may need additional support or enrichment based on their reading performance. This system helps educators identify students' needs and tailor interventions for improvement. Looking at the pre-assessment scores of the 4 participating students, I was able to highlight some areas that were strong for them and some areas for improvement. Student 1 showed mixed results, excelling in letter naming and sounds, but struggled notably in oral reading fluency. Student number 2 also performed very well in letter naming and sounds, but had significant difficulties in reading fluency and comprehension. Student 3 demonstrates strengths in letter-related tasks, but faced challenges in nonsense words and oral reading fluency, while Student 4 shows proficiency in letter naming and sounds, but struggles with other areas, particularly in fluency and reading accuracy. The next two slides show a brief overview of the students' pre-assessment scores and post-assessment scores when it comes to the DIBELS assessments. As you can see, student number 1 had mostly red scores when it came to letter naming fluency, letter sound fluency, phonemic segmentation, correct letter sounds, and reading fluency. By the end of the intervention, this student had actually gone from being at risk in most of the categories to being at risk in 2, performing a little below benchmark in 3, and was able to meet proficiency in words read correctly when it came to nonsense word fluency, and was above the benchmark goal when it came to phonemic segmentation. Student number 2 very similarly began with a lot of at-risk categories. So the one area that they were yellow in was words read correctly for nonsense word fluency. Everything else was red. Everything else was at risk. By the end of the intervention, the student was able to achieve proficiency in 5 out of the 7 categories. These categories included letter naming fluency, letter sound fluency, phonemic segmentation, which was above the benchmark goal, and was able to read the correct letter sounds in nonsense words, and was able to blend the nonsense words together and read them correctly. The 2 areas that the student is still working on and is a little bit below benchmark is their word reading fluency, so their high frequency words, and their oral reading fluency. Student number 3 showed proficiency when it came to letter naming fluency and letter sound fluency. However, this student was at risk and in the red category when it came to phonemic segmentation, nonsense word fluency, word reading fluency, their high frequency words, and their oral reading fluency. By the end of their intervention, the student was at benchmark goal and at proficiency in 6 out of the 7 categories, and was actually above benchmark goal when it came to phonemic segmentation. So this student showed a lot of progress. The last student, student 4, very similarly to the rest of them, had a lot of at-risk or below benchmark goals in their various categories. So the 2 areas where the student was just barely below benchmark was with their letter naming fluency, and they were able to read 2 high frequency words. By the end of this, the student was proficient in 4 categories and was above proficient in 3 categories. So this student also showed great improvement, great growth in every single one of these categories. So going a little bit further, I'm going to show you the results for each individual subcategory in the DIBELS assessments. Those are the ones that I focused on and used to show their growth. So we're going to start with letter names and letter sound recognition. So while the students were able to identify several letters and several of the sounds, their confidence really seemed to increase the more that we did this intervention group. So the more we were able to practice decoding words and blending and word patterns, the more confident they became in their letter name and letter sound correspondence. As you can see, the students showed, each of them showed great growth, and you can see that there was progress made week by week by week. Similarly to the letter sounds and letter naming fluency, we're able to see this improvement. Now, when it came to nonsense word fluency, these are the words that the students are able to tap out, and they're not trick words, they're not high frequency words, they are words that the students need to use their phonemic awareness and phonological awareness and use those skills to blend out a word, to decode them, and these are words that are not real, so they really have to depend on these skills to decode them correctly. Again, as you can see, the students showed great growth in correct letter sounds and in words read correctly. So the students started off very low, they were at risk, and by the end of it, they were able to identify most of the letter sounds that were correctly used to decode the words. They were able to actually read the words, and they actually were able to look back at various sound patterns that we had learned throughout the weeks, and use that knowledge to kind of help them decode these new words. This next slide looks at the students' results for word recognition fluency and phonemic segmentation. When I first started working with these students, they had very few words that they were able to identify, very few high-frequency words. And what I noticed that was as we worked on more high-frequency words throughout these past couple weeks, they were able to go back and retain that information, and they were able to recall those words a lot quicker the more that we practice them. And you can see that in their charts. So as we learn more high frequency words, as we practice them more with flashcards, with the nursery rhymes, with the reader's theater prompts, they were able to recall them a lot more. And you can see that growth happening slowly. Every week, the students were able to identify more and more high frequency words. When phonemic segmentation, the students were able to chop up the different word sounds, the different letter sounds, and they became much more confident in this the more that we practiced. So again, they started off with not being able to really segment the words initially, to being able to segment almost every single word and every sound in the word. So they showed great improvements in those areas as well. This last little bit of data shows the results of their oral reading fluency. So the final assessment in the DIBELS is the students are given a prompt, they're given a text, and they have to read as much of it as they can within 1 minute. And it started off with the students able to read maybe one word out of the 10 that they would attempt, out of the 12. They really struggled with this, and so oftentimes I would have to stop the assessment before the minute was up because they were just struggling so much. But by the end of it, they were actually able to decode more words and identify more high frequency words. So they were able to read more of the passages and were actually much more confident in them. So as the students were given the passage, you could see that they were like, oh, this word, I know this word, I can decode this word. And so they were able to read a lot more and comprehend more of what they were reading. They are still working on becoming more fluent and working on these word patterns because they are still struggling. However, they went from only being able to read 1 or 2 words correctly and read 9 to 10 words incorrectly. They were able to close that gap, so they were able to read more words correctly and less words incorrectly. And you can see this in the graph. So the blue indicates the words that they did not read correctly, while the orange shows the words that they did read correctly. And as the weeks progress, you can see that the blue gets smaller and smaller, which shows that they are able to read more words and be more fluent in their reading skills. When looking at the principled innovation framework, I decided that the one that best matched my applied project was the intellectual pathway. So this is all about exploring cognitive implications, it's research-driven evaluation, it's critical analysis of methods, and it's continuous inquiry and reflection. So in this intellectual pathway, I am, number 1, pursuing deeper understanding in the project. I'm not just implementing nursery rhymes and reader's theater as teaching tools. I'm delving into their cognitive and educational implications. I'm exploring how these strategies enhance phonemic awareness, vocabulary acquisition, and comprehension skills among young learners. By examining the interplay between these literacy tools and children's cognitive development, I'm contributing to a broader understanding of effective pedagogical practices. Number 2, I'm conducting research to inform practice. Systematic research is a crucial part of my project. Through data collection and analysis, I'm evaluating the literacy skills of my students before and after implementing nursery rhymes in readers' theater. This involves using both qualitative and quantitative research methods to gather comprehensive insights. I'm also exploring established theories on early childhood literacy to enrich my understanding of the foundational elements that support effective literacy instruction. 3, I'm developing critical thinking. As I engage with various educational theories and practices, I'm being encouraged to critically analyze the strengths and weaknesses of existing literature and methodologies. This involves evaluating the effectiveness of traditional literacy instruction versus more innovative approaches, such as incorporating play and the arts. By questioning established norms and exploring alternate perspectives, I'm refining my teaching strategies and developing a more holistic approach to literacy education. Number 4, I'm fostering ongoing inquiry. The intellectual pathway is designed to promote rigorous inquiry, aligning seamlessly with the principles of action research. In my project, I'm not only implementing the intervention of using nursery rhymes in readers' theater, but also systematically assessing its effectiveness through ongoing evaluation. In conclusion, the integration of nursery rhymes in readers' theater presents a promising approach to enhancing early literacy skills among struggling first-grade readers. The rhythmic and repetitive nature of nursery rhymes fosters phonemic awareness and memory retention, while readers' theater encourages active participation, social interaction, and comprehension skills. The combined use of these tools not only engages students' interests, but also creates a dynamic learning environment that supports linguistic development and boosts confidence in their reading abilities. This research underscores the importance of utilizing creative and collaborative strategies in early literacy education, suggesting that targeted interventions such as these can significantly impact academic growth for struggling readers. Future studies could further explore the long-term effects of this combined approach and its applicability across diverse classroom settings. I really hope you enjoyed my applied project. I had a lot of fun working with the students, and the students had a lot of fun working on these various activities. We did a lot of collaborative work, a lot of hands-on activities, and I'm happy to see the growth that the students were able to make in their literacy skills. I would love to see the long-term effects of this kind of intervention. If the students participated in it for longer than 4 weeks, I think it would be very interesting to see the growth that they would make. Thank you so much for your time. Again, I hope you enjoyed my applied project, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Bye.